Hello, I'm Michael Reed, Vedic astrologer with over 20 years of experience in the astrological field. If you're interested in scheduling a consultation with me, you can do so through my astrological services page, which you will see linked above. I should mention that I am offering a 10% discount on my normal intensive consultation until 10 p.m. London time tonight, the 25th of April. And the intensive consultation contains a complete karmic analysis, which we're going to talk about Rahu and Ketu today. So you'll get a general idea of some of the things that I take a look at through the intensive consultation. In addition to that, I have an approaching course in August and an ongoing course on the Nakshatras. You can find information about both of those courses at the link above. So I thought I would do a brief series on the nodes through the Rasis, or the signs, as many of you know them, starting today with Ketu in Aries and Rahu in Libra. So let's understand a little bit about each of these particular planets and how they tend to function within the horoscope, and how, in turn, they cause the individual to behave due to the manner that they function. So a lot of people tend to understand Ketu as being related to past karma. It is that on one level, but on another level, and one that you can connect to a little more immediately, is that of being related to the approach that we're most accustomed to. Over time, we develop these ways that we become secure with relating to the universe around us, and Ketu relates to that security paradigm. Now, even though I say a way that we feel secure relating to the world around us, it doesn't always mean that that way of relating is something that provides security or actually works well for us. A lot of that is determined by the planet that disposits Ketu. Now, Rahu's function is to help us to recognize that something about the previous approach no longer works. After all, we can't hang on to the past forever. And if we've become accustomed to relating to living within a tiny room that's really cramped with not much oxygen in it, sure, that might be something that we're accustomed to, but it's not something that's going to really work well for us for the entirety of our life. And that's when Rahu steps in and begins to pull us towards a potential other solution. But that other solution is something that we're not familiar with, or that seems strange, and perhaps we're a little hesitant or a bit scared to approach that particular solution. So that's generally, in a nutshell, how these two planets work. I do have a full course on the nodes. You can find that on my video courses page linked above. But let's go into talking about Ketu in Aries and Rahu in Libra. Ketu in Aries marks an approach to life that's accustomed to approaching life with a sense of initiative, right? They're the type that are used to acting quickly and equally acting impulsively. Now, in some instances, maybe that impulsive action and that sense of initiative was something that actually served them. That'll usually be indicated by a strong Mars in the chart, right? But when we live our life acting upon initiative and acting upon impulse, we quite often don't consider the outcome of our actions, right? So we can be too impulsive, we can be too impetuous to the extent that we create difficulty in our own environment. And in addition to that, difficulty on our interpersonal relationships with other people. And quite often that is a case with the Ketu Aries and Rahu Libra approach. So Rahu's job in terms of developing the approach that Ketu is most accustomed to, right? Because Rahu's job is to help Ketu to recognize that approach may not work anymore. You need to have a different approach to things, and you need to integrate a new way of working with things so you can expand beyond your old way, which was really kind of keeping you suppressed and well, for lack of a better way to say it, living in the past, right? So Rahu's job through Libra is to make the person consider, are the actions that you're taking really worth the price that you're considering paying for it, right? So rather than be impulsive, rather than approach things with a sense of initiative, how about instead considering the impact of your actions? How about, rather than a no-holds-barred, strong approach, how about a more refined approach that, is taking into consideration the impact that your actions may actually have? In addition to that, Ketu in Aries grows accustomed to fighting for those things that it wants in life, for fighting for those things that it desires. Mars, which rules Aries, and Venus, which rules Libra, are two of the passionate planets in the horoscope, right? So with Ketu in Aries, the person is accustomed to fighting for those things that they want. And through Rahu in Libra, it's more of a focus on, rather than feeling that you always have to fight for everything and take initiative and act on impulse, how about enjoying what you have in your life already? Where the nodes are in your horoscope, it's not that you ignore one in terms of doing the other, right? And that's also a mistake that people often make in understanding the nodes in their horoscope, because even though Ketu relates to that method of looking at life that we're needing to grow beyond, sometimes those things that we know how to do and that we're really accustomed to doing well are the things that we can always fall back on during times of difficulty, right? In addition to that, if we spent all of our time in developing a new way of approaching things or looking at things through a new perspective, sure, it can make for an exciting life, but occasionally we need to rest back on that comfort of Ketu. And Ketu helps us to integrate those experiences that Rahu brings into our life. So the key word with the nodes in your chart, and I'll mention this over and over again over the course of the videos, is one of finding a balance between the two. So with Ketu in Aries and Rahu in Libra, it's about knowing when to take initiative so that you don't spend all of your time considering like the impact of your actions and deliberating over something endlessly, right? It's about finding a balance between going, right, enough deliberation, now's the time for action. And it's also about going, right, I'm just being a little too impulsive, so now it's time to consider my action. So it's about finding balance between the two. As I was mentioning, if you're interested in learning about the positions of the nodes in your own individual horoscope, I do offer a vast range of astrological services through my website. One of those services is my intensive consultation. And until 10 p.m. tonight, London time, on the 25th of April, I'm offering a 10% discount on the intensive consultation. You can find a link to my services page along with the discount code, if I can say it, which will be the word intensive at the message above, which will take you to the link to my services page. That's going to do it for this look at Ketu in Aries and Rahu in Libra. Until next time, please do take the very best care of yourself. Bye now.